Hi there. How are you all doing? Welcome. Hi. Today, I have some very exciting news for you. Some of you have heard about it already. What is happening today? I am launching something that I've been thinking about probably for the last 5 years. And so it's a very exciting day. It is called the RGA Network, Rebecca Gordon Astrology Network. So what I've done today is I've launched a way for astrologers that study with us and have been working with us for like the last 15 years, some in the last year, some in the last 15 years. We've launched a way for them to basically start their business and reach the world and give you all access to their astrological genius. So I've met brilliant astrologers who've come through our school over the years. And right now on our website live is a way for you to have access to many of our students. So it's in the profile link. It's called the RGA Network. You will see it. This is something, and I'm going to tell you about each one of them today too and why they are so special. But these are all people that I have trained, mentored personally. They've been through our school, which is a rigorous astrological program. And I can personally vouch for them. I can say you will receive an amazing reading. There are 3 people in the network we're launching with right now. And each one of them has a very unique skill and a unique niche in astrology. And I thought that was important. So you can have a range of different kinds of readings. Now, I was starting to get all of these emails, where people were complaining that I was booked 6 months out. And I said, wait, but we have to figure out a better way because I want to also be more accessible to you too. I don't want you to have to wait 6 months or long for a reading. So this was the idea. Now, welcome. I'm so happy to see you all here on the live. So I'm also going to be answering some of your astrological questions today. But first, I would really like to tell you a bit about this network and who is in it. So overall, I'm going to tell you a little bit about their sun, moon, risings and about why I chose each of these 3 people to launch with. Now, before I do that, I want to say that as astrologers and as astrology teachers, it's you probably know it is quite hard to get your business started. It can take a while, okay? And I feel that there is enough room in the world for all of us and for all of us to teach others, to rise them up to become teachers as well. So that is my hope, to keep on doing this. And hopefully these people will start their own schools eventually, and so on and so on. So back when I was studying astrology with my books and my ephemeris, we definitely didn't have all of the social media and everything that's out today. And it was much different getting your business started. Now I think that there are so many astrologers in the world. And I don't think it's a very specific skill set. It's not like you can read all the books in the world and that does not make you a great astrologer. You all know that, right? You can have all the knowledge, but you might not have the empathy. You might not have the consultation skills. You might not have the communication skills. And to me, that is most important. So I can say wholeheartedly that each one of these 3 people in the network, and I will name them Lumi, Katrine, and Sarah, each one of them has above average, I would say stellar communication skills, interpersonal skills, as well as astrological genius. So it's a very rare combination because astrology is funny. It's like a bit of a mix of the right and left brain. You're not just doing math because you're also incorporating empathy and intuition as you're looking at symbols and lines. It takes a lot. This is not easy work. You all know this, right? So it's a very unique balance where you switch between the right and left hemispheres of the brain because you're relating to somebody. So, as well as looking at all the patterns, essentially what we do is pattern recognition as well behind the scenes. So, okay, I want to talk to you about each one of these people, what makes them special, and throughout the next month, I'm going to be interviewing each of them on a live separately, where you will get to know them and what they enjoy doing most in astrology. And we're going to talk all about how they became astrologers too, their journey, and hopefully that will inspire you also. Okay. Yeah, and I'll take your questions at the end as well. So somebody says they like my necklaces. I will post in the comments the designer. She is wonderful. She lives in the neighborhood too. So, okay. First I'm going to talk to you about Lumi. So she is the first person, and thank you, Lumi, because Lumi was part of our soft launch. So she stuck with us when we were beta testing all the technology out, because behind the scenes of this, there's a lot of tech to run this network. So Lumi was our first that we onboarded, and Lumi studied with me in my school around, I think it was about 5 years ago or so, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And she graduated after studying beginners, intermediate, advanced, and then she did a private mentoring. Well, the private mentoring was like the advanced training. And so she's worked with me for years, and I have seen her grow and blossom as an astrologer, as a counselor, as a reader. And so far, people who've been recommended Lumi have been giving us great feedback, which we'll be promoting as well. So a bit about Lumi. She's a Pisces sun. She is a Libra moon and a Scorpio rising. Okay. This, I would say Lumi is wonderful for you if you love an intuitive astrologer, somebody who can deeply tune in. She looks at the chart, of course. She knows her math. She knows her astrology. But I was astounded when I first started mentoring her and I started listening to the things she was saying about charts with having no prior background. It was pure intuition. Lumi's also an amazing counselor, having so much water in her chart. She's wonderful counseling skills, being a Pisces sun, Libra moon, Scorpio rising, but she's a truth teller, and I have a feeling, I think she does specialize in relationships as well. At least I remember from mentoring her, that was an area she's shown in so brightly. So, I mean, I could recommend Lumi for a deeply soul-centered reading, empathy, deep empathy, accuracy, but above all, her intuition is like beyond. So welcome Lumi to our network, and you will find all of her information as well as the others in the profile link and on the website under the readings page. So welcome Lumi. Now I will go ahead and tell you about Katrine as well. So as Lumi is water, air, water, she's a water sun, an air moon, and a water rising, so double water and air. Katrine is quite different. Katrine is a woman, first of all, who I've known, I would say, for at least a decade. She studied with me maybe almost 8 or 10 years ago. And since then, Katrine and I have co-hosted retreats together all across the globe. I really miss that. So we've co-hosted astrology, nature retreats, all sorts of things. Now, Katrine is a sturdy Taurus sun. She is a Capricorn moon and a Sagittarius rising. Katrine is also a transformational coach, and you can see by all of her focus on earth and fire. So she has, of course, the practical know-how. Let me get you to point A, point B. These sort of executive ability that you see in coaches. I think Katrine has also, outside of astrology, coached many people. And also, she has a Neptune on her ascendant, which I would say Katrine's intuition is also highly developed as well. At least this is what I've seen also in her readings and from just partnering with her for years, co-creating retreats together. So I'm thrilled for you, Katrine, to also be with us on the network. Welcome, Katrine. So, and again, I'm telling you, I wanted to launch with a variety of people. So each has a very different angle that they come into the chart with, and I think that's so important. Because there's many different kinds of clients, and all of you might be looking for something quite different. I'm going to read you a little bit here of Katrine's bio as well. I think it's interesting to note that she's from Estonia. She's born in the Nordic country, and she's also a sailor. She sails across the oceans as well. Quite an adventure traveler with that Sagittarius rising as well, and Taurus sun. So welcome, Katrine. Again. Now, so the next person I would like to introduce to you is Sarah Keating. Now, Sarah Keating is our newest addition to the network, and I was astounded with Sarah. I will say it was about, I think she might have started studying with us just like a year and a half ago. But the way that she dove into all of the material, she graduated with honors beyond, did all the extra credit work for beginners and intermediate, and our mentoring. Sarah Keating is such a devoted astrologer. Now, what I found in her readings, because all of these people have given readings as well when they graduate, they give readings to a professional astrologer, and we grade them in a whole lot of categories. So when I looked at Sarah's grading system, because she gave a reading and the professional astrologer graded her in all these different categories, just she was like A+, communication skills, everything, accuracy. But what I have seen that she specializes most in is she understands how to untie the knots. I mean, like when we're in those really tough situations in life, I've seen that she has a deep understanding of interpersonal skills, psychological dynamics, and counseling. So she comes from more of a psychological background. She's incredibly insightful. And from what I've heard from the people who've had readings from her, they say that she helped them realign with their life path as well. So you can absolutely trust Sarah for this. Sarah is an Aquarius sun, Aquarius moon, and a Leo rising. So Sarah is air sun, air moon, and fire rising. So you see we have quite a variety here. Lumi mostly being water with a dash of air. Katrine mostly earth with a bit of fire on her rising. And Sarah, who is air, Aquarius with a Leo rising. So welcome Lumi, Katrine, and Sarah to the RGA Network. So thanks for joining all of you here. Now, their readings as of now, and they might go up over time in price and everything, but right now they can book a year ahead natal reading, most any topic, relationship, career overview. The readings are $200 and $250 at the moment, and all of their availability is listed on our website as well. So, like Lumi is available Monday through Friday, Katrine, certain other days. So it all should be very easy. Everything is recorded. So you receive recordings from anybody who books in the network. And really, I'm excited to continue expanding this network, and perhaps you will be a member of it soon. So my goal is to grow this to raise other astrologers up in the world. And perhaps maybe some of you will take on the same business model down the road. I think we all really need to help each other with this. As what I've seen as a trend, in the last 5 years, is that astrology is just shooting up like a rocket. And I can see why. I mean, it's multifactorial, but one of the big reasons is that everybody's like, what on earth is happening in the world? And astrology does show us patterns and cycles and gives a deeper understanding to the why. So as I've seen this grow, and I've talked with a lot of my astrologer colleagues about the growth of astrology, many of us have expanded our schools and podcasts and all sorts of things. But I also think we can't forget that it's most important to lift those up that are starting. And as teachers, as authors, whatever we do, it's important for us to also mentor. And I mean, a big part of my practice is mentoring, and that's something I will probably never stop doing. I absolutely love mentoring people and love seeing astrologers grow from baby astrologer into full grown professional. And I've had the privilege to do that for these three wonderful women we are launching with. So welcome to the RGA Network. Now I'm gonna just like hang out with you all for a bit and answer any of your questions about this or anything else. So, so somebody said super Virgo. Yes, I am a total Virgo. You got me. That's right, Hillary. Okay, I see some questions here. Somebody's asking, do I teach classes? I've been studying on my own. Yes, I mean, I've been teaching classes for 15 years, and I was booked out almost a year with readings, and that's one of the main reasons I started the network, was because people were complaining that I was so far booked out, and I wanted to also give our amazing students work, astrological work, because they've been studying for years. And it can take sometimes years to get a business started if you don't have help. So I recommend all of you that are professional astrologers, that are training other people, remember how long that took. Remember that it is very important to lift each other up when you see people that are dedicated, learning. And what I saw in each one of these three women was something completely unique, based on their level of skill, accuracy, empathy, intuition, and overall understanding of the human condition, an ability to speak with such wisdom. So yes, I teach classes, and I'm continuing to teach more classes. Actually, I will be building out more classes down the road, and that's also one of the reasons why we are launching this network. So there's more room for that. Okay, are there any other questions here? So, yeah, a lot of people are saying I'm such a Virgo. I don't know how to take that, but yeah, I'm a total Virgo. You got me. I have Sun, Mercury, and Virgo. Yeah. Also Saturn and Virgo too. I'm a Saturn conjunct the Sun. So my classes are rigorous, but they're also fun. I have a Leo rising, as you could probably tell, right? So we always have a great time. And often what students say is when they graduate, they're like, wow, I can't believe I learned so much because I had a blast as well. And in the school, you will make friends for life. I mean, we have an amazing Facebook group community in every class. And we have pods of 4, and these people stay connected. I've seen, I think in one of the classes, maybe Katrine was in, or somebody else, these people stayed connected for years, like 9 years down the road. They still go on retreats together. So it is very much about community and helping each other. So somebody's asking me here, Honor Your Season says, as a baby astrologer in your class, what other skills can I work on? That's a great question. So I think as an astrologer, there's a couple things that you should probably have an understanding of, which are basic consulting skills, which are counseling training. I think it's worth it to get the ISAR consulting skills certification. This company offers it. They're an astrological networking group called ISAR. I think that's worth it. Or maybe you have some background in psychology, consulting skills. I think that is key, and it's probably one of the most overlooked things. Being a good counselor is not native to everyone. So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say, an understanding of religions, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You need to understand different faiths, that who you are working with might have a completely different theology than your own. And it's very important to understand that because you will work with such a breadth of clients. And then I always think it's a great practice to just not stay in the astrology books all the time, to do things that are very much not related to astrology and find the astrology in those things. Like find the astrology in a piece of music or in a movie or in the waves of the ocean. What is it being quite fluid with your senses, I think, is one of the skills that astrologers have. Like something sounds like, it tastes like, it feels like. You can look at one aspect and you can say, Mars conjunct Saturn, that tastes a bit metallic, or, it gives me this feeling. I think it's quite important to be able to do that. You have to be able to think in an abstract way to be an astrologer, and to be a good astrologer. You can't be too literal. I mean, the literal is great, but you do have to be quite fluid with your senses and creative ultimately. I think seeing the pattern, Another thing I could say is you can't get lost in the story. Astrologers we are trained to see patterns and cycles. That's what we do. So when you're listening, you look for the patterns. And I always have an intention before each reading. Sometimes it's just to give that person the highest good, but I sort of visualize personally before going into a session of what I might like them to feel or to, walk away with. I think it's important to think about why we're doing this work in the first place. Why are you doing it? And that can change the whole reading, okay? Because we can get way lost in the tech if we don't. Less is more. You don't have to include every single thing that you see in the birth chart. I mean, I can go on with tips, but, So, yeah, and I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see beginner astrologers make, is that they put, every single thing they're seeing in the birth chart, like Lilith and this quincunx and that sesqui square, and you just can't put too many ingredients in the soup. So I keep things simple. A simple soup is the best soup. I also teach in my ecosystems method, where we look, it's really kind of derived from the Tibetan Bon work, which you look at the body as a series of ecosystems, as well as the transits, which it's rooted in that, but I found that it was the best way to teach, and I found that students could grasp it quite easily when I teach through ecosystems. So that's how we're running most of the classes now, because of the growth that we've seen when we started teaching with my ecosystems method, that people were able to grasp it in ways that they had never before. And that's something I've done with companies as well. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there's a lot of questions now. Somebody's saying, will we do retreats again? Oh, I wish. Katrine, maybe we will do a retreat again. I mean, as soon as COVID is over, here, I'm dating this live, but as soon as this is over, I would love to plan a retreat. I mean, that would be amazing. So another thing is, peer support counselor. It's great to be in a peer group when you're starting out as an astrologer, so you can critique each other. And that's why we created the pods in the beginner's class, and they do solid critiques for each other in a proper sandwich method. We train them to do that. So they're not just saying great work. If something sounds off, the peers are helping each other. So we do that. Let's see what else is here. Somebody's saying, is it too late to sign up for a beginner's class? Well, that's a good question. We're almost halfway through the class. You would have a lot to catch up on in a little time. We can talk about that later, what that would entail. I mean, if you have a lot of time on your hands and you can catch up, perhaps. But let's see, we're on the 5th or 6th class right now. I think it's 5th actually. Okay. Hillary's saying, is our beginners class always in the fall? Yeah, it's always in the fall. It's always late September, early October is when the beginner's class always starts. So, I mean, we've morphed it over the years. Some of the ladies in the RGA Network, they graduated from our school 7-8 years ago. Some of them graduated in the last year. And, it's evolved. the classes used to be much smaller and intimate in my living room when I just started teaching 15 years ago. And those people had a completely different experience, you know? And now it's a global school, you know, it's online. People from all over the world, from New Zealand to Japan, are in the school now. So it's pretty incredible to see how it's grown too. Um, yeah, I mean, we will be offering other classes. Our next course is Astrology for Entrepreneurs, and that's a great starter course too. And I believe that starts in January as well. So if you are interested in a reading, I could highly recommend any of the ladies from the RGA Network that we are launching with, Sarah, Katrine, or Lumni. I thoroughly will endorse them myself, and you know, I can share with you if you have any more questions about them, specifics. Um, but overall, I mean, we've had hundreds of thousands of people come through our school over the years. And these are three that I've chosen to start with for a very specific reason. Now, we will be growing this too as time goes on, and perhaps we'll be growing it in other areas and, you know, in teaching and writing and other sorts of things. But right now, we're launching with just readers at the moment. So let's see, what are the other questions here? Somebody says, what is your favorite astrology book? That's a great question. You know what? Well, if I could only have one, it would be an ephemeris, okay? If I could only have one astrology book, because, you know, that tells you where the planets are at every day and time. Now, I enjoy good writing, so I enjoy the Howard Susportis book, The 12 Houses, a lot. I love the way that's written. I love reading that book. It's just rich. There's many other books that I like for various other reasons. But I would start, I mean, The 12 Houses is a beautiful journey through the houses. There's many more, though. Yeah, I would recommend Astrology for Entrepreneurs. Get on the wait list now. It's great. It's a great course, and it will be coming up in January. Okay. So somebody says, is it best to have a reading with someone with similar signs? Oh, that's a great question. So, yeah, we're going to be listing all the RGA Network readers' signs on the website. There's Sun, Moon, and Rising, the big three. We'll add that to the site probably tomorrow, as we literally just launched it yesterday, so we're still kind of, you know, finishing touches. But is it good to book with somebody who has similar astrology? I mean, it's up to you. You might feel like you need a lot of fire right now. You might feel you want the grounding of earth. You might feel like you want the security and the safety, the being held of water, the comfort there, in the space of water. You might feel that you need the inspiration and the reorientation perspective of air. You might feel that you need a grounding, a plan, and more of a coach, you know. And this is really based on where you're at in your life. So I recommend reading their bios on my site. It's best, honestly, for me to speak more to each one. You'll hear in the other that we will be doing throughout this next month. But I will highly recommend any of these women. And if you click on the link in my bio here on Instagram, you will be able to find all the information about them. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you will see the link in the description below as well.